What's up, everybody? All right, I got some tutorial videos coming at you. Right now, we're gonna do a tutorial for a side plank. Okay, so side plank can be a pretty complex pose, just because you're bringing in a lot of different muscle groups in order to keep yourself stable. I feel like a common misconception for your side plank is that you're using, all of your arms and your shoulders in order to keep yourself, like you have to have strong arms and strong shoulders to have a side plank, when that's not really true. You do need those, but you also need a strong core, and you're also using strong legs to help you in this posture. So just like always, I'm going to get into the pose, show you what it looks like, tell you what I'm engaging, what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna walk you through it. All right, let's get started. So this is a modified side plank. If I was gonna go into a full side plank, I would step both legs back, have both legs nice and long. I can have my feet staggered like this, or I can have my feet on top of each other. All right, back to my modified. All right, so in my modified, I'm obviously using my hand, my arm, my shoulder. I'm also bringing my core section into it. I need a strong leg for this base, so I'm engaging my muscles in my base leg. I'm also engaging my muscles in my top leg because I need to keep myself balanced. The arm extension and taking the eye gaze up to the top is optional. You can always rest here for your side plank, or even here for your full side plank. Or keep the gaze down and slowly work your way to where the gaze is up. Remember that the lower your gaze in these postures, the easier the pose is gonna be. So when you try to take the gaze up, it's definitely gonna make the pose a lot harder. All right, so let's walk through. How do I get into a side plank? How do I get into a modified side plank? All right, let's do this. So how to get into one of the ways to get into your side plank, which is what I'm gonna show you. This is, in my opinion, the beginner way to get into your side plank or modified side plank, is from a high plank. So we first are gonna find our high plank position. Now remember, your high plank is not here. This is your tabletop. Your high plank is here. So my core is engaged. My knees are down. All right, so I'm like, okay, I have found my modified high plank. Then from there, I'm going to extend one of my legs, my back leg, and I'm gonna rotate onto the big toe side of that. Then from there, I'm going to make sure that my wrist and that my shoulder are in line with each other. So you don't want your wrist in here, and you also don't want your wrist out here. So you want to make sure you have that nice straight line where your wrist and your shoulder are in one straight line from each other. And then we're going to open up the chest. So my chest is nice and open. I am facing completely towards you. In your side plank, this is going to be a lot easier, but you're going to try and progress to where you can open up. Rotate the hips forward, rotate the chest forward, and then now this top shoulder is pointing up towards the ceiling as well. So now I've got a straight line from this shoulder to my bottom wrist. Now I'm gonna go for the arm extension. This is my modified side plank. So notice my bottom leg, I have my knee down. I can have my toes tucked, or I can have my toes untucked. It is completely up to you. Tucking the toes might give you a little added balance versus having your foot flat on the ground. And then your extended leg, you want to try and have it to where it is, I'm going to show you from this view. So you want to try and have it to where it's in line with your other foot, but not a straight rigid line. A straight rigid line, that doesn't make any sense, just a straight line. You can also have the foot just a little bit over to the right. You don't want to have it to the left. You want to have it more in front of your other foot. Just a little bit. This is just going to widen the stance up for you a little bit. And then eventually you can work your way to having them in one straight line with each other. But use this as your starting point. Use this as your marker to see, okay, I'm here, this is my side plank, I feel good, I feel comfortable. Eventually make it to where your feet, your heels are aligned with each other. Okay. All right. So now we are in, actually I think I'm gonna switch sides. All right, so we're in our modified side plank. Now that I'm in it, I want to check in with my alignment and my muscle engagement. So my alignment looks pretty good. Chest is open, shoulders open. Now I'm going to check in with my muscle engagement. So right now I am engaging this whole section of my core. I am engaging my pelvic floor. I am engaging both of my glutes, and my base leg is nice and strong. So I'm using my quad and a little bit of my hamstring and calf to keep this leg steady so the top half of my body, the floating half of my body, can stay up. So once you get here, if you're like, okay, I feel good, I feel steady, I feel stable, then maybe we move into floating. See, we all fall. Maybe we move into floating the top leg. This is going to bring in a whole other amount of muscle engagement. So now I am using my leg muscles of my floating leg to keep this leg up. My foot is going to be flexed. What that means is that it's pointing towards my face. And then I'm going to check back in. Got my core engaged, got my pelvic floor engaged, bottom leg is engaged, top leg is engaged. Okay, I feel good, I feel steady. So now I'm going to take my arm to the sky. I'm going to keep my gaze out in front of me for right now. Remember, that's something that you work your way towards. And I'm going to take it back down just because I'm feeling a little unstable. And then once you are where you want to stay, whether it's here, here, or here, you're just going to breathe. Take a few rounds of breath. Remember, it's okay to feel wobbly in this pose. I feel wobbly. You're going to feel wobbly. Keep your focus on keeping your chest open. So you're going to get tired. You're going to want to lean in like this. If you're feeling tired and you're starting to lean that way, you notice that your body is more tilting down, take a break. Sit down on your knees, take a quick child's pose, take a few deep breaths, recollect yourself. Remember, you're practicing. This is why can't I say that word today? This is a tutorial. So give yourself the time that you need to learn, to grow, to figure it out. Okay, so now we're gonna walk anywhere. We're gonna step back into doing a full side plank. So maybe you've mastered your modified side plank. You're ready for a full side plank. So same thing, once again, I'm gonna get into my modified high plank. And then from here, I'm going to extend one of my legs, whichever side I want to go on. For this instance, I'm doing my back leg. I'm going to make sure that my wrist and my shoulder are stacked. I'm going to open up my chest, and then I'm going to extend my bottom leg. So now I'm in my full side plank. So notice this is not your side plank. This is your side plank. So now I'm using both of my glutes and I am really engaging my core to keep my hips pressed up like this. This one is much harder. So work your way up to it. Your full side plank is just like your modified side plank as far as alignment and muscle engagement goes. It's just going to be a lot more intense. It's going to be a lot harder. It's going to take a lot more practice. Take your time. There is no rush. Be proud of what you've accomplished and how far you've come. Okay. All right. That was our side plank tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, comments, or maybe there was something that I skipped, I missed, that just like a completely spaced on it, let me know. Send me an email. Hit me up on my social media. You know, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect, so there are going to be times when I make mistakes. If you've ever taken any of my live classes, you know this. Have a wonderful day, and thanks so much. Bye.